The Browns were coming off an 11-sack opening loss to the Colts. Browns led by the former University of Miami quarterback Bernie Kosar. Would he be sacked 11 times again in the dog pound? No, he wouldn't. How many times would he be sacked? Well, here's one. First one, the linebacker Brian Cox. That's the first one. How about one more from the linebackers and John Offerdahl blowing past John Reenstra, getting to Kosar. Those are the only 2 sacks of the game, but there was hard hitting. Offerdahl. Boom on Tommy Vardell, the rookie out of Stanford. The Browns hitting Clay Matthews on Mark Higgs. Even Reggie Roby, the punter, had to leave the game with a twisted left knee. First half offense, Miami, scoreless. Marino up top. Mark Duper, 25 yards later, hauls it in. Dolphins led 14-0 at halftime, cruising 20-3 in the fourth. But Bernie, who was injured and hobbling most of this game, to Michael Jackson over the middle, 60 yards. That really got a fire under the Browns. 4th and goal, Kosar to Jackson over the middle in the end zone, and this would turn out to be a thriller. The Michael Jackson touchdown made it 20-10. Next possession, Mark Higgs gang tackled. Mike Johnson pulls it out. David Brandon picks it up, and with a Cleveland convoy, he'll go the distance, and in a matter of seconds, from 20-3 to 20-17. 2 minutes left. Browns get the ball back. Kosar to Vardell. And look at the rookie from Stanford bowl over people to the 4-yard line. And for Bill Belichick, it's set up. Kosar scrambling, looking like Tarkington, nimble on his feet. To Mark Bavaro, big hit, but Bavaro, the ex-Giant, hangs on. The Browns' Art Modell's team missed the extra point, but look at the hit. He was okay, and his team had a 2-point lead, but still time for Marino. 37 seconds left. Freddie Banks hadn't caught a pass all night. This one gets him to the 34. Then on the next one, Marino is hit by Anthony Pleasant, roughing the passer. They'd get the ball close to the doorstep. Here it is, 10 seconds left. At the 1-yard line, Mark Higgs, the plunge with time running down. And just a few seconds before Dan Marino's birthday, which is for this.
Hey folks, are you ready to talk some football? We've got some Week 12 NFL picks for you. Before that, let's review Week 11. So in Week 10, actually, I went 4-9. Probably should have wore a paper bag over my head. Well, actually, I probably should wear a paper bag over my head every week. I really have a face for radio. But last week, I probably should have had my head covered because I had gone 4-9. And when I started, the game started getting played last week. I was starting to get worried because as I do them in order, the way the schedule lays them out, and it's pretty much in order the way they get played. At one point last week, I was 3-4, but then rallied and finished 10-4. So good week last week. 10-4 is that's not a bad week. I like it anytime I can get my wins up in the double digits. So what about the total for the year? That's now up to 101, 61, and 1. So not too bad. Let's talk about this week. Week 12. All right. So Thursday night, the Colts played the Texans. Unfortunately, I'm telling you, it's starting to feel like Thursday nights is my night to jinx somebody because if I pick them, they're going to lose. And I got on Facebook and picked the Colts. And, of course, they lost. So I hope the Colts aren't going to be one of those teams that I just can never gauge again. I've got a few of those kind of teams that it just seems like right when I think I got them pegged. But, I guess that's the way it is with parity when you start getting around these teams that are around 500 a lot. So, anyway, so I picked the Colts. Texans won. Yeah, not a great start. So let's talk about the Dolphins and the Browns. First look at it, I almost hesitated to make my pick because I love this Dolphins team. I think they are playing way above their heads, but that's the problem. They're playing way above their heads. It's great when you can get a team that can play, greater, the parts are the sum of the parts are greater than the whole, and that's the way the Dolphins are running right now, and that's awesome. But sometimes you just have to be realistic. And the Browns played a really good game against the Steelers last week. Even without Myles Garrett, I still think I've got to pick the Browns. But as I started thinking about that, I just hate that he lost his head like he did, because he will be a game changer for the Browns. I don't think losing him against the Dolphins will hurt the Browns that much. But in other games, whether it's close, yeah, he'll be a difference maker. And not having him for the rest of the year, it's just a shame. It's just a shame. But you can't argue with what happened. You swing a helmet at somebody's head, you got to go sit down for a while. That's just they can't have it any other way. All right. So Browns over the Dolphins. Next up, Lions at Redskins. And I know if my buddy Steve is watching, he's like, pick the Redskins, pick the Redskins, pick the Redskins. Because I have a way of jinxing the Lions, I think. But I'm looking at this, and I can't help but think this Haskins kid, unless he can get it turned around, he is not very good. He hasn't shown me a thing. And Stafford's backup, who I didn't write his name down, I should have, because I can't ever remember it, it's not playing bad. He played a little better last week, so I still think the Lions are a better team than the Redskins. I'm picking the Lions. Raiders at Jets. Not the easiest game to pick, even with the Raiders having the better record, because the Jets are doing some things right. They've got a stout running defense. And Darnold's starting to really look a whole lot better. But the Raiders are looking balanced. 6-win team. Even going to the East Coast to play this game, I still think that the Raiders win here. So I'm picking the Raiders over the Jets. Giants at the Bears. I think the Giants have some good pieces put together. I like Saquon Barkley. I like Jones, the quarterback. But I don't see this team being good enough to handle that Bears defense. And I think Trubisky, wow, what a... He's I think he'll be good enough to take care of the Giants. I just don't think he's a long-term answer. I guess this team just reminds me a lot of the early 2000 Dolphins with Jay Fiedler, where they have a really good defense, and just they need to get a new quarterback to get over the hump. And if they don't, then that window of opportunity is going to close. But I do think the Bears win this week. Bears over Giants. Panthers at Saints. I still think the Saints are the best team in football. And I think they take care of the Panthers. I think Panthers have our game. And I think that, I'm not saying this will be the easiest win for the Saints, but it is in New Orleans. I just think I think Saints keep rolling. All right. Next game, Seahawks at Eagles. With the Seahawks being on the road, that made me pause a little bit. If it had been in Seattle, I'd definitely be picking the Seahawks. And then I started looking at the Eagles and thinking, they're a good team, but really, where are they outstanding? And then I just started thinking, well, I don't know. I'm not sure I know where the Eagles are outstanding. So I'm picking the Seahawks over the Eagles, even though it's in Philadelphia, and I think that gives the Eagles a bit of an advantage, but it wasn't enough of an advantage to help the Eagles beat the Patriots, so I don't think it's going to be enough to help them beat the Seahawks. Falcons at Buccaneers. Buccaneers have been scrappy, but the Falcons have been on fire. So I'm picking the Falcons. And if I pick this game wrong, then good for the Falcons. I've jinxed you because I'm getting tired of them messing up my picks. They are one of those teams that I can't seem to get right. I've been avoiding. They've been heating up, and I've been avoiding them because I thought, well, how long are they going to keep that up? They're at home against the Buccaneers. I'm going to take them. And if not, then I'll just take solace in the facts that I just jinxed them. Broncos at Bills. These are two teams that look a lot alike to me as far as defense. It's in Buffalo. I think they have the better offense. I think it's a younger offense, maybe not as consistent as they should be later down the road, but I think that they'll get there. Broncos, yeah. In fact, I realized Flacco wasn't playing after I made my last video, and I don't know, this Allen kid, I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to put my faith in that. Bills over the Broncos this week. Steelers at Bengals. Oh, come on. The Bengals haven't shown me anything all year long. I thought maybe earlier in the year they'd be better than what I thought. No, they're not. No, they're not. And so the Steelers, then the Steelers probably frustrated. So they'll get to take out a little bit of their frustration on the Bengals in Cincinnati this week. Steelers over the Bengals. Jaguars at Titans. I'm not sure that... Well, they may have a quarterback controversy developing in Jacksonville because Foles is not playing to the level to where people have forgotten about Gardner Minshew. And maybe that's just rust that he has to knock off. But right now, it's... I don't know, but I do think that Tannehill has been playing pretty good in replacing Mariota, or however you want to say his name. Never really did understand what the big deal was about that kid, but Tannehill's been playing well. I'm picking the Titans. Titans over Jaguars. Now we got the Cowboys at Patriots. I couldn't hate two teams any more than I hate these two teams. My hate for the Cowboys started back in the 70s when they started calling themselves America's team because, let's face it, that's a pretty arrogant claim to make. And to me, they were just the bandwagon team. Everybody liked the Cowboys. I don't know why, but they did. And back then, nobody liked the Patriots. So there's another bandwagon team. Try finding a Patriots fan that was actually a fan before 1999, there might have been some that liked Drew Bledsoe back in the day, but really, most of the Patriots bandwagon started in the early 2000s. And they've earned the name the Cheatriots. They're really a piece of work. So, but I don't think the Cowboys are so good that they're going to go into New England and beat the Patriots. I don't think that's happening. I'm picking the Patriots over the Cowboys. I really don't care which team wins. I just hope that they kick the snot out of each other. That'd be fine with me. Now, the last two games of the week. Sunday night, Packers at 49ers. What are you doing to me, NFL? I mean, I appreciate a really good Sunday night ball game, but did you have to put it on the night of Survivor Series? Come on, man. What am I going to do? I tell you what I'll do. I'll probably watch Survivor Series and tape and put the Packers 49ers on the DVR and then watch that way I can fast forward through the commercials and get through the ball game tonight quicker. But man, that's tough. Because this is going to be I think this is going to be a really good game between two of the best teams in the NFC. Looking at it, I think the 49ers are banged up a little bit. Packers are looking so good. I'm picking the Packers to upset the 49ers in San Francisco. Packers over 49ers. Yeah, and by the way, I watched NXT War Games last night, and they put on a pretty good show today. They've really got me pumped up for Survivor Series. And if you haven't seen NXT War Games, I encourage you to if you've got the WWE Network, go over there and watch it because it really was a good show. Ravens at Rams. Oh wow, this is a tough one. Ravens are on fire. They've really got some momentum, and the Rams have been struggling. But the Rams need this game, and I think their coach is a good coach. I think he's going to get them prepared for this. I'm picking the Rams to upset the Ravens. You got to figure at some point that the Ravens have a letdown. I look at this and I think the Rams defense is good. If they can, what they really need to do is force Lamar to throw the ball and test them. Now, it could be that Lamar steps up and does what he needs to do with his arm, and maybe they win anyway. And if they do, holy cow, maybe we need to reconsider who should be the favorite to win the Super Bowl, because that's been my whole thing with running quarterbacks. Can running quarterbacks, because here all right, let me just lay it out. This is my thoughts regarding running quarterbacks. Most of the time I think running quarterbacks don't get developed enough for the pro game because of their running ability. It's so much, when you talk about high school football, if you have someone with exceptional running ability, I imagine Lamar Jackson killed everybody he went up against in high school just because his ability is so much greater than most of the other players on the field. You get to college, it's still an easier game to get mismatches and have good players blow out other players just simply off of athletic ability. The problem then comes when you get to the NFL, and you can't just out-talent the other team, because at this point, you've whittled down, the high school players get whittled down into those who are good enough to play college ball. And when they leave college, they get whittled down, way down, because there's only 32 NFL football teams. That's why the jump from college to NFL is so much harder than any other jump. And so the question is with these running quarterbacks, because I don't feel like people put in the time to develop them as throwers. So, how do you read your progressions? How do you read the defense? How do you adjust your throws? You can't just go out there and sling it. You've got to be able to make a bunch of different type of passes. So And this is where my only skepticism in Lamar Jackson comes. And it's not because, I like the kid. He played here at Louisville. He was a human highlight machine. But when you make the pros and you're a running quarterback, can you consistently make the throws to keep your team marching down the field, especially if they're shutting off the run? And so that's what I think. This is one of those tests. That's what I'll be looking at tomorrow night. I'll be watching them real hard. How does Lamar handle a defense that might be able to? Well, first we'll see if the Rams defense can play disciplined, stay in their lanes, and shut him down running. And if they do, then can he make those throws? How does he do reading his progressions? Can he lay stuff in? Because that was one of my biggest criticisms of Michael Vick, was that every football that come off his hand looked like it was a Nerf. He had a great arm, no question. But it was like just one type of throw, as hard as he could, and I never saw any real touch with him, and I never saw the ability to consistently throw the football. Not like a Dan Marino or Warren Moon or Joe Montana, who knows that when they go out on the field, they're going to consistently have to make several passes in the drive, and maybe with their down on the line, and have to get it done. Make those throws when you know that the defense is looking at you to make that throw. So anyway, we're getting up in time, and I need to get this done and uploaded. So I'm going to let you go. I hope everyone's having a great week. Know everybody's thinking about COPPA rules right now. As far as I'm concerned, I'm just going to keep things going regularly, or keep things going as usual until we get through this discussion period with the FTC and YouTube, and see if they give us some better guidelines. So we'll just keep going at the way we're going now. I have a bad shoulder. I've been trying to do projects around here, so again, I apologize for getting this video up so late. Next week, I want to beat Thanksgiving, so look for a new video. I'm shooting at a deadline of Thursday morning. I want to get it up by Thursday morning. I may try to get it up Wednesday night. So just be watching earlier for this picks, because I do want to beat the Thanksgiving Day games. Hope everyone's having a good week. We'll see you soon.